So I just decided to make a quick video to show you a little trick that I use for rotations. You should have watched the other video already, but rotations can be kind of tricky. So after doing a bunch of them, I came to this conclusion. So you can do it the slope way that you saw in Miss Mink's video. You could also memorize all those rules. The way that I've learned to do it is a little memorization trick, but you just have to memorize one thing, and it's this. So you can write this down if you want. If you can remember to multiply y by a -1 and flip x and y, then you can do rotations. Let me show you. So example 1, feel free to write these down if you'd like. I put rotate the point 5, 7, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So all of these are actually going to be in terms of counterclockwise, because that's kind of the standard for rotations, okay? So, and to give you a visual of that over here, counterclockwise would be, let's go this way, like this direction. Counterclockwise, this would be clockwise, okay? So I think of the rotations in terms of quadrants also. So like 90 degrees counterclockwise, if I'm starting in quadrant 1, I'll end up in quadrant 2. And then 180 would bring me, 90, 180 would bring me to this quadrant, and then 270 would bring me to the third quadrant, and then a full 360, I'd end up back here. Okay, so let me show you this little trick that I use. So to rotate a point 90 degrees counterclockwise, you simply multiply your y value by a -1, and then you switch these two spots, just like that. So if you multiply y by a negative, that'd make it -7. And then you switch x and y, so you get -7, 5. Boom, you're done. Okay, let's do another one. Example 2, same point. Rotate the point 5, 7, 180 degrees counterclockwise. All right, so ones that are more than 90 degrees, you just have to go through that same process multiple times. Okay, so for 180, you're just gonna have to do it twice. Well, we already did the first one, right? We multiply y by a negative, and then we switch them, so we get -7, 5. Okay, and then we simply do it one more time. So I take my y value, my new one, multiply it by a negative, which when I say multiply by a negative, you're basically just switching the sign on it. So you're gonna make this one negative now, and then switch x and y. So it'd be the point, -5, -7. Okay, and then example 3, let's go to 70 degrees counterclockwise with the same point. So 270, that's 3 90s, right? So we're gonna do it 3 times, which we already did it twice. So first one, 90 degrees counterclockwise, we know we end up with -7, 5. Then we apply the same thing again, multiply y by a negative and switch them. So we get -5, -7. And then doing it one more time, multiply that -7 by a negative, so you get a +7 and switch x and y. There you go. +7, -5. So kind of demonstrating that over here. This is actually another way you could do it that's super easy. So our first example, we took this point 5, 7, I already plotted it, and we went 90 degrees counterclockwise. You could actually do this every time. You could take your paper and literally rotate it 90 degrees. Boom. Now pretend like this is a normal coordinate plane. Like here's your x, here's your y, and then ignore all these numbers and just count it like it's a normal coordinate plane. That would be the point -7, 5. Isn't that what we got? Yep. So the next one, we went 180 degrees. So here's our original. If you want to do it this way, you could literally take your paper, go, okay, 90, and then 180, and then see where that point would be. So pretend like this is your normal coordinate plane and pretend like it's not upside down. So like here's your x, here's your y. Ignoring the numbers, this would be the point -5 down 7. So -5, -7, which is exactly what we got. Look at that. And then if you wanted to rotate it like that third example to 70 degrees, again, you can take your original, go to 70 counterclockwise. So 90. 180, 270, and then again, pretend like it's just a normal coordinate plane and it's not flipped on its side. You would go 7, -5, which is exactly what we got. Okay, let me show you a couple other examples. Okay, so example 4. I don't know if you saw the answer there. Pretend like you didn't. All right, new point. Rotate 2, negative 10, 270 degrees counterclockwise. All right, let's try our new rule. So first, we'd go 90 degrees, multiply your y by a negative and switch them. So I'd make that 10 positive and then you switch them, so 10, 2. Okay, do that again to get 180, multiply your y by a negative and then swap them. Okay, and then you got one more time, multiply y by a negative, switch them, and that would give you your 270 degrees. So negative 10, negative 2. So that means if we do that over here, okay, so there is our point, our original point, and it wants us to go 270 counterclockwise. So I could just take my paper and go, okay, 90, 180, 270, and then see what point that would be. That would be the point negative 10, negative 2, which is exactly what we got. Okay, and then the last thing, now they could give you something like this. Last example, it says rotate the point 270 degrees clockwise. It's a little bit different, okay? Still super easy. If they give you a clockwise problem, I recommend that you change that to a counterclockwise problem. Okay, so this is how I look at those. Let me get my 5th example. So here's that point, 27. Wants you to go 270 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, so if you actually move that on your paper, you do it with the other hand. All right, so clockwise would go just this way, right? So I just think of it in quadrants. So without even turning my paper, if I go 270 clockwise, 90 would bring me into this quadrant, 180 into that one, 270 right here. So think about that. Okay, I think one of my lights just busted. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So if we end up here, counterclockwise, that would just be a 90-degree rotation. So that's what I put on the notes here. I put change your clockwise to counterclockwise. So then 270 clockwise would just be 90 counterclockwise, and we know how to deal with the counterclockwise ones. So if we're just going 90 counterclockwise, take that point, multiply y by a negative, and swap them, and you get negative 7, 2. And that's it. That's how I do rotations. Feel free to use that trick.